Published, 10:46 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 30th of May 2018. Updated, 22:38 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 30th of May 2018. Donald Trump posed for a photo with Kim Kardashian in the Oval Office after a great meeting, discussing prison reform. The reality star spent great-grandmother serving a life sentence in prison. Lawyer Brittany Barnett told DailyMail.com that Kardashian wanted to ask President Trump to grant Alice Johnson clemency in an anticipated face-to-face. Today's her birthday, so no greater gift than freedom on her birthday, Barnett said of her 63-year-old client petitioning for a pardon. Kardashian had a confirmed meeting on prison reform with Jared Kushner, a senior White House advisor. Barnett said it was her hope that Kardashian would also have an opportunity to plead Johnson's case to the president. That hope came true. Scroll down for video. Donald Trump shared a photo with Kim Kardashian during their meeting in the Oval Office. The message to the president is that Alice Johnson, the 21 years she has been in prison, represents a punishment that more than pays her debt to society, and that to keep her prison the rest of her life is morally and economically unjustifiable, Barnett stated. After the meeting, Kardashian left the White House and headed for Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump's D.C. home. Exclusive photos taken by DailyMail.com show the reality star walking inside and laughing with the first daughter and her husband. She later tweeted, "I would like to thank President Trump for his time this afternoon. It is our hope that the president will grant clemency to Ms. Alice Marie Johnson, who is serving a life sentence for a first-time, nonviolent drug offense. We are optimistic about Ms. Johnson's future and hopeful that she, and so many like her, will get a second chance at life." A woman that appears to be Kim is seen standing alongside Jared Kushner, right, and Ivanka, center. Kim Kardashian spent an hour at the White House on Wednesday in a meeting with the president's son-in-law. After the meeting at the White House, Kim went to Jared Kushner and Ivanka's home in D.C. Ivanka was also spotted walking into the property in a Gucci dress after the White House Sports Day. Her husband Jared, who met with Kim earlier in the day, smiled as he arrived home. Ivanka is seen smiling as she entertains Kim and guests in their home. Kim was seen leaving the Kushner home just after 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Ivanka appears to be sending her on her way. Behind the door, she glanced at the cameras as she headed to her waiting car. On her way home, she ended her day in Washington, D.C. After months of talks with the first daughter and her husband, Kim pushed Donald Trump to give a first-time drug offender and great-grandmother serving a life sentence in prison a life-changing birthday present. During a meeting at the White House today, Kardashian has a confirmed meeting with Jared Kushner, a senior White House advisor and the president's son-in-law. She's seen arriving this afternoon. A great-grandmother, 62-year-old Johnson, is serving a life sentence without parole as a first-time drug offender. Kardashian, 37, in both her meetings with Kushner and the president, discussed a pardon for Johnson, who will otherwise spend the rest of her life in prison for a first-time drug offense. Johnson's life sentence did not come with the opportunity for parole. Her conviction and incarceration caught the eye of Kardashian on Twitter earlier this year. Kardashian said in a tweet Wednesday morning that confirmed reports that she was headed to the White House. "Happy birthday, Alice Marie Johnson. Today is for you." The White House confirmed Kardashian was expected. She is expected to be here at the White House. "I can confirm she'll be here," Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told DailyMail.com during a news conference. "We'll keep you posted on any meetings that take place, what those look like." Kardashian, 37, was expected to sit down with Kushner and then meet with the president to discuss a pardon for Johnson, who will otherwise spend the rest of her life in prison for a first-time drug offense. Kardashian, who appeared on Trump's NBC show, The Apprentice, in 2010, said she voted for Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. Trump, in an infamous interview with shock jock Howard Stern in 2015, said Kardashian was fat. "Does she have a fat ass? Absolutely. And if it weren't Kim, they'd say, wow, I don't want to go out with her," he told Stern. Barnett, who joined Johnson's legal team in November, said that Kardashian's support has been tremendous in putting a spotlight on not only Johnson's case but all the other low-level offenders doing hard time. She was not only moved to tears, she was moved to action, Barnett said of the celeb. Johnson's lawyer said the great-grandmother more than deserves the opportunity to reintegrate into society. After spending so many years behind bars, it is our profound, and hopefully realistic, hope that release is on the horizon. Earlier on Wednesday, Barnett said that Johnson's legal team does not have any expectations that Trump will act today or at all. "We hope that the president will grant her clemency today, but we don't know that will happen," she said. "We are encouraged to see that people like Alice, and thousands of other people like Alice, are getting attention and hopefully released soon." The White House declined to comment on reports that Kardashian would meet with the president on Wednesday afternoon, and the president, who's an avid tweeter himself, has not mentioned a meeting. Kardashian said in a tweet on Wednesday that confirmed reports that she was headed to the White House. "Happy birthday, Alice Marie Johnson. Today is for you." Kardashian will reportedly eat a meal with Jared and Ivanka before meeting with President Trump, who she is pictured with in 2010 at the celebration of Perfume Mania. Kardashian has been campaigning for Johnson's release and has been involved in months of talks with the White House about a pardon. She reached out to first daughter Ivanka Trump and established a connection with Kushner, Vanity Fair reported, and will meet with both today in Washington. Neither her husband Kanye West, who is a Trump supporter, nor other members of the Kardashian family were at the meeting that spanned an hour from arrival to departure at the White House complex. Kardashian, who was wearing all black, arrived at and left in a black SUV. She did not make an attempt to engage with a pack of press staking her out. In the past she has said she would like to explain to President Trump that, just like everybody else, we can make choices in our lives that we're not proud of and that we don't think through all the way, as she campaigns for a pardon for Johnson and prison reform. Kushner has pulled from his father Charles's own year-long incarceration in 2005 for tax evasion, illegal campaign contributions, and witness tampering, in his prison reform agenda. He helped to engineer the First Step Act, created to offer job training and drug treatment programs, as well as time off their sentences, as an incentive for inmates with good behavior. The House passed bill that is before the U.S. Senate would allow nonviolent offenders to spend the end of their sentences in halfway homes. Kushner at a White House event this month said, "The single biggest thing we want to do is really define what the purpose of a prison is. Is the purpose to punish? Is the purpose to warehouse? Or is the purpose to rehabilitate?" Kanye won't be tagging along with his wife when she goes to speak with President Trump today. He's seen here with Donald Trump at Trump Tower in 2016. Just last week on Thursday, the president posthumously pardoned Jack Johnson, the legendary black boxer who was convicted of violating the Mann Act in 1913 at the request of actor and support Sylvester Stallone. The senior White House advisor acknowledged that the legislation is indeed a first step, as the act's name suggests. "If we can start showing that we can make the prisons more purposeful and more effective at lowering the recidivism rate over time, that may help the people who are trying to make the argument for sentencing reform," Kushner said at the White House Summit on Prison Reform. Trump's administration has a mixed record when it comes to reforms, however, after the president ran on a platform of law and order as a candidate. Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinded an Obama-era memo that provided leniency for drug offenders in states that have passed rules legalizing marijuana as one of his first acts atop the Department of Justice. Trump himself has signed several politically charged pardons for former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio and other supporters. Just last week on Thursday, the president posthumously pardoned Jack Johnson, the legendary black boxer who was convicted of violating the Mann Act in 1913 at the request of actor and support Sylvester Stallone. The act made it illegal to transport women across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. It was often used, though, as a punishment for interracial relationships. Prison reform has been placed high on Kushner's agenda since his own father was incarcerated in 2005 for a slew of crimes and only served a year. Alice Marie Johnson, a mother of 4 and grandmother of 6, was convicted of conspiracy to possess cocaine, attempted possession of cocaine and money laundering in 1996. The drug operation went on for around 3 years, according to federal court documents seen by DailyMail.com, and moved dozens of kilos of cocaine and millions of dollars between Texas, Arkansas and Tennessee. Curtis McDonald, Maurice Mondy, Andre Johnson, Derek Jones, Mitty Palmer, Jarlene McNeil, Katina Johnson, Garcerial Dotson, Victoriano Minota, Milton Valencia, Marcos Antonio Lopez, Angel Naboa, Angelica Ray, Marcelia Jaramillo and Ramon Ramirez were her alleged co-conspirators. Federal court documents state this conspiracy consisted of an agreement between and among the various co-conspirators, allowing for each member thereof to perform certain specific functions designed, when each conspirator performed his part, to transport cocaine from the state of Texas and elsewhere to the state of Tennessee. In the summer of 1991, Curtis McDonald gave Moses Williams 5 kilograms of cocaine outside of Alice Johnson's home in Memphis. Later that summer, Williams, McDonald and another, Victoriano Minota, met at her home, where Williams was given a 5 kilograms bag of cocaine for distribution. The federal indictment also states that in July 1991, Alice Johnson rented an apartment under her daughter Tretessa's name in Memphis, which became the drop-off point for cocaine, which was transported from Houston, Texas to Memphis. Over the summer, McDonald and Johnson delivered large sums of U.S. currency to Minota and others, Milton Valencia and Merrick Bill Thomas, as payments for the cocaine. The following summer, Williams met with McDonald and Johnson at the Hickory Ridge Mall in Memphis to discuss their cocaine business. Over the next 6 months, Mata had several of the crew drive loads of cocaine from Houston to Memphis, where it was dropped off with Johnson, McDonald and Williams. At the same time, cash was being ferried across state lines from Memphis to Houston. The indictment states, on or about December 15, 1992, Curtis McDonald and Paul Duventre loaded a large sum of U.S. currency in 2 tar buckets, which were then driven by Paul Duventre to Houston, Texas, at the direction of Curtis McDonald. Between 1992 and 1993, the Cocaine Trafficking Incorporated Arkansas. According to the indictment, McDonald, Garcerial Dotson, and Williams made a trip to Texarkana to pick up a Nissan station wagon loaded with cocaine. On August 18, 1993, McDonald asked Williams to fly to Houston and drive packages of cocaine back to another address in Memphis belonging to Jarlene McNeil. A day later, Alice Johnson provided Williams with a plane ticket under the alias Larry Morgan at Memphis International Airport. As the cocaine business entered its 3rd year, the indictment states that Williams delivered large sums of U.S. currency to Katina Johnson as payment for cocaine. Katina Johnson is believed to be Alice Johnson's other daughter. The cocaine distribution continued into 1994, with the 15 co-conspirators relaying kilos of cocaine and money in cars to various drop-off points in Arkansas, Texas and Tennessee. The indictment states that in September 1994, Alice Johnson instructed Marcelia Jaramillo to check into a hotel in Memphis, where she passed along her car keys to an unknown individual. At trial, 10 of her 15 co-conspirators testified against her for reduced sentences or to have their charges dropped. The mother admitted that she was a go-between and relayed coded messages in telephone calls. She denied ever making drug deals or selling drugs. During her time in prison, Johnson has displayed exemplary behavior, become an ordained minister, a published writer and a prison tutor, a biography from Can Do Clemency reports. She has gained a large following of people pushing for her to be granted clemency as she is a first-time, non-violent offender. Part of this push saw her story turned into a short video, which went viral on social media. Kim Kardashian saw the video and retweeted it to her millions of followers with the caption, "This is so unfair." In October last year. Since then, she has been working to help Johnson receive clemency from President Donald Trump. The reality star had her personal lawyer begin working on Johnson's case, the New York Daily News reported, and has spent months in conversation with Jared Kushner, who is a senior advisor to Trump and his son-in-law, on the topic. In late November, Johnson penned a moving letter to Kardashian, seen by TMZ, saying her efforts were literally helping to save my life. "I was drowning, and you have thrown me a life jacket and given me hope," she wrote.